Hey everybody, this is Rustin with Metalholic Magazine and Access, and today we've got with us guitar duo Greg Burgess and Mike Stancil of Allegaeon. How are you doing, my friends?
Good. Yay us, a duo.
Nice. I didn't realize I was going to have two of you, so I'm kind of excited about that. So a lot of great stuff to talk about. The new album, Elements of the Infinite, coming out on June 24th on Metal Blade. So let's jump right into the new record because it sort of marks a significant change for the band with Ryan Gleason gone. You got the new drummer, Brandon Park, and of course, Michael, you're in the band now. How did those elements sort of impact the creation and recording of this record?
Well, his leaving impacted us a lot. It was definitely a long time coming, it seemed like, just personality-wise, and we're just, just different people, you know what I mean? It's nothing personal, it's just, just different people, and he had different ideas of what he wanted to do with his life, and it became very, very clear. It came out of his mouth that he was using Allegaeon to accomplish his own program, what he wanted to do, and that's fine. To each his own. He was doing what he wanted to do, and it would just became a big separation between all of us, and he. When the Pyrithian thing happened, that kind of was like the last nail in the coffin as far as what he was going to contribute to us. And as soon as that came out, it was like, oh, I guess I'm going to have to write a whole record by myself. Just half a record. And, we wished him luck, and we didn't see him for a very long time. It wasn't, he wasn't out. We just didn't talk to him. He was busy with his own thing. We didn't hear from him, and then we got some tour offers that we just really couldn't pass up. So we got Mike to fill in, and then it just went super good. I guess Ryan found out. He's like, hey, I think I'm just gonna step back, and he did that. And so Mike wasn't permanent at that time, but he did so good on the tour. It was just kind of like a no-brainer. All the other bands were just like, dude, come on, just take the guy. So it's been great. It's been one big party. It seems.
Nice.
He makes me younger is really what it is.
Well, I was going to ask you, having played with Ryan for a number of years now, and now to look over and see Michael on the other side of the stage, is that a little bit surreal? What is that sort of like for you to have a new battery mate, if you will?
Oh, if your viewers could see his face. Or your listeners, your viewers, I'm doing this. At first it was a little weird because I've been playing with him for so long. But even before we did that tour, I think by the third rehearsal, I couldn't even tell. I mean, Mike's just really good. I mean, he's 19, he's just really good, and he's got a great head on his shoulders too. Look at me just complimenting you left and right. It was after about the third rehearsal, I didn't even notice. And, it's great. And Mike, his stage personality is a lot different than Ryan too. So when we did the very first gig with Mike, it was a whole new monster. Because Ryan, he was very much a technician and not a showman. Whether that's good or bad, it's, everybody's individual opinion. But
right.
Ryan was very much a stationary player. He didn't move around. He didn't, it was all about the guitar to him. Whether for me, it's, I'm an entertainer. I'm there to entertain you, to play music, and, to put on a show, just different philosophies. And Mike is the same as me. So it was like automatically our show, just the visual aspect of our show was like, infinitely better. So
nice.
Yeah.
So we will further embarrass Michael and we'll talk. What do Brandon and Michael bring to the table in terms of the new album? Because obviously you've got a totally different guitar player over here, and then of course you guys have been looking for the right person behind the kit for a while. So what did that bring to the table with as far as the album goes?
When Ryan left, the main thing was like, well, we haven't had a complete band for a long time, for like it was over 2 years. So it was like, you know what, we need to get the right people. We need to get a band. For not even for ourselves, but also for the fans. They deserve to have like a full functioning unit, as it were. So, we went to a couple people for drums. The guy who played on Form Shifter, JP, he was going to do it for a while, and then he just couldn't do a tour. Right. And it was not a very long tour. So I got Brandon to fill in, and Brandon's been trying to get on the Allegaeon train for quite a while, and there's been reasons why I didn't pull the trigger on that, but then my fears were laid to rest pretty early into that, and it was just like, he's just the right guy. And plus, he knows a van engine. So when we were broken down in Oklahoma, he's like, "Oh, I can fix it." And I was like, "I love this guy.
Yeah,
he's hired."
I think that night was like, "Who fixes the van? He's in."
Yeah. But I know Brandon for sure, but I think Mike was a fan of the band before they were in. So there seems to be that hunger that hasn't been here for a long time, of like, they want to be here, they want to contribute, they want to put on the best performance possible, and it's really nice. It's like a breath of fresh air. So
nice. I was going to say, to my ear, Elements of the Infinite remains true to the Allegaeon sound, but there's much more going on. It seems like you mentioned some hunger there, but it seems like you're evolving beyond the foundation you set with Fragments of Form and Function and Form Shifter, and there's certainly more aggression.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is there was a lot of people that loved Ryan's writing style, right? Mm-hmm. And with him no longer here, I didn't want it to alienate those fans. So a lot of it was, a very concerted effort to appeal to those people. That's not my natural writing style, right. But I had to look at what Ryan has done in the past and try to emulate some of his techniques and some of his writing style, and try, I'm me, so it's going to come off like me. But whether it sounds like Ryan or it doesn't, the intention was that no one would really know that there was a lineup change,
right?
For in a detrimental way, So we'll see. We'll see what happens when the album comes out. If people like it.
Well, the album's fantastic. Now, Michael, from your perspective, having slipped into the band, and you were a fan, and then you were performing in the band. Now you're in the band, recording the album. Have you seen sort of this evolution, and how does it feel to you, sort of as a slight outsider perspective, if you will?
Yeah, I'd say there's been evolution, mostly with fixing the whole image of like having a broken band, I guess, without like all the members. So I think that gives people confidence. Like, okay, they're now a whole
unit, yeah,
thing now.
A lot of people have mentioned to me they like it seems like a camaraderie between everybody. It's It's one big, like, we've always kind of considered us a family. Like when we're on tour, someone ends up in the hospital, we're in the room,
right?
And sometimes, and this is not putting anybody on on the spot or anything, but a lot of times, people are just individually different people, and they weren't, they were less of friends and more of just, hey, I'm here to do a job, Now everybody's friends. I mean, we hang out often, and it makes for a really easy working relationship, and just the product just seems to be better with everybody. Everybody's happy, and everybody's more functioning on a higher level because of it.
Nice. Now, there's also more classical elements on this album. Tell us a little bit about working with orchestral composer Joe Ferris.
Playing with orchestra is something that I've wanted to do from the beginning, and it's just always been, how do we take those elements and present them in our live show? Because we just haven't had the technology. I mean, if you listen to Form Shifter and Fragments, there are lots of strings and orchestra in there. They're just buried in the mix because, it just makes everything sound fuller in a studio CD package, as it were. Live, it's so loud, you don't really need those. So, I mean, it was just basically there to fill out the sonic, atmosphere, what have you. Now we can make those kind of independent of what we're doing, and it's great because you can do lots of different things. People always ask us, like, please don't ever do clean vocals, please don't ever clean vocals. Well, we're never going to do clean vocals because none of us can hold a tune. No one has to worry about that with us. But we do want to grow, and when bands do the clean vocal thing, it's vocalists want to improve their instrument. So it's just how we're going to grow as musicians, and we want other musical types, other types of music to want to absorb into the Allegaeon big sponge, and present other ideas, and
Nice. So now lyrically, you guys have some pretty intense stuff going on. on every album. What aspects of science and space did you explore this time? I mean, obviously 1.618 relates to the golden ratio in the Fibonacci series, but what else were you working on with this one?
With Biomech 2, we touched more on, genetic stem cell engineering. The Biomech 1 was all about stem cell research. This is using the stem cells to 3D print organs.
Right.
We touch on, Dyson spheres, the ability to build a superstructure around a sun to harness the energy. Tyrants of the Terrestrial Exodus is about, the logistics of transporting off of Earth to another planet. Black holes, the effects of gravity and mass on time.
So we're just all over the place on this one, huh?
Yeah, it's just whatever we find interesting. I've been wanting to write that gravity tune for quite a while, and it was great. It was the hardest tune, I think, for Ezra to write, because it was just taking this abstract concept and applying it to lyrics. So.
Well, I was going to ask you, you had said you were hoping to avoid doing any lyric writing yourself this time.
Yeah.
Did Ezra handle them all this time, or did you get sucked in?
I got sucked in a little bit. Just once this time. And that was just at Ezra's request, because me and him wrote Biomech 1 together.
Right.
So he thought it'd be cool if we wrote Biomech 2 together. So, so me and him went in and we did Biomech 2 together, and it was fun. We wrote it in Mike's basement, actually, the day before he tracked it.
Nice. So, and speaking of camaraderie and 1.618, I laugh every time I watch the video. You guys look like you had a blast making that.
Yeah, it was a 3-day shoot. I mean, over the course of that, there was a lot of fun days, and there was a lot of more fun days than miserable days. But there was one miserable day, like very miserable. Doing the black metal and Viking scene, that was miserable as hell. It was so cold.
Oh, I'll bet. So, and I had to laugh. I mean, here I am. I write about music and metal every day. I didn't even realize we had crabcore out there. What the hell?
See, that amazes me, because that scarred me so much when that Attack video happened, and I thought it scarred me. I was like, oh, we got to make fun of crabcore because of that, and yeah, not a lot of people were aware. I feel guilty that we exposed them.
I thought it was a joke when I first saw it.
We those poor people that we exposed to that genre.
Nice. So now, back in the studio, Dave Otero produced the record. He's been doing a lot of stuff lately. What did he bring to the table?
Lots and lots of ideas. There's a reason that we didn't go back to him for Form Shifter. Whether it was just because I was younger and a little bit of a hothead, or just because the inner workings of the personalities within the band at that time, we didn't want input from a producer. Our love for Dave didn't change. The guy's awesome. He's a great guy, but we just did not want outside input. We wanted to produce the records ourselves with Form Shifter. This time, because I had done so much of the music, I felt that I was not objective, so I really needed an outside opinion. So our friendship with Dave has grown over the years, so it was kind of a no-brainer. I went into the studio and did a solo on the Black Cat Minor CD. It was OJ from Byzantine, that band from West Virginia. Great band. Chris Poland from Megadeth, James Malone played on it from Arsis. Just a really great record. It's all thrash. And I did a lead on that, and I went into it with Dave to record it. And it just felt good. It felt like I was home. So it was kind of a no-brainer going back to him, and I really wanted his input as a producer on this record. And it paid off. Yeah. He didn't take much away that I wrote. He just had lots of ideas to expand it. And I'm all about, more is better kind of guy. I don't like taking away from songs. I like adding to them, so...
So nice segue there. I grew up on classic guitar heroes, Randy Rhoads and the like, and 6 strings were the norm. Now there are so many metal bands with 7 and 8 strings. More. Where do you see the future of metal guitar progressing, you guys?
For us personally, we are never going above 8. Yeah. We don't even like it. We don't even really like 8. It just we kind of got niched into that with Form Shifter, and as one of those bands that use all 8 strings. So it just kind of getting known for that. So we're just going to keep going for a while. I mean, for me, playing 7-string was perfect. I really like 7. I'm not a big fan of 8, but and your other band, you only play 6.
Yep.
So.
Nice. So, and I always wondered, because we were talking a moment ago about the clean vocal thing, about bands trying to progress and grow and everything. And I've often wondered, and it's hard to ask this question of like a death metal band or bands that use the coarse or harsh vocals, but do you think that whole genre is starting to die out? I mean, has it run its course with the harsh guttural vocal thing, and we're sort of making that shift back to all the cleans, or do you think there's still a lot of tread left on those tires?
I think from the amount of the people that hate clean vocals in metal, I think there's plenty of tread on the tires.
I think it's like progressive metal has been getting pretty big.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it comes from.
Yeah, I mean, I love clean vocals in metal. I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to do. When I moved to Colorado, I was going to form a prog rock band.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to do kind of like a Yes Means Dream Theater type of band. And then Allegiant called me, and it was just so much fun that I couldn't turn it down. Or I should, Allegiance. It wasn't Allegiant at the time. Allegiance. But, yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of clean vocals in metal. It gives just like when we were saying, writing more and experimenting with other styles of music, when you can write a vocal melody line, it's one more thing to play with musically, and it's really cool and interesting. So,
right.
But
all right, so just for fun, before we get out of here, a few more questions. Neil deGrasse Tyson recently noted that aliens have probably already come to Earth and decided there is no intelligent life here. I know you're a fan. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree.
Yeah, I love that guy, man. What a great guy.
I think I saw what you were talking about. He said, it's like, when was the last time you went out to your backyard and had a conversation with a squirrel?
Exactly.
Like that comparison.
Yeah. If they have the technology to cross the vast wasteland to visit us, why the hell would you want to talk to us? So
Exactly. So, and you're not supposed to talk about religion, but I got to say, you guys promote science and reason through your music and lyrical content. Is it a stretch to suggest that you're a secular band more inclined towards atheism?
I don't think it's a stretch. We're not anti-religion by any means.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very devout atheist. Went to Catholic school and everything, so I know my Bible pretty good. But yeah, it's just not something for me. I know Ezra's the same way. Corey is Christian. I know that.
Really?
Yeah, he's a Christian. Yeah, he thinks God in every album.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really just everybody's got opinions like assholes, right?
Well, that's what keeps your guys' Facebook page so exciting. You've got all these different opinions throwing stuff out there. It's always exciting to read your page on there because there's always something going on. But
yeah.
So, all right, our pointless question of the week. If you could hang out for an evening with a celebrity not related to music, who would it be?
Oh, dude, can you imagine hanging out with Bill Murray? Dude, that'd be so fucking rad. I don't know why. He just automatically came to mind. Bill Murray.
What about you, Mike?
I have one. Then I lost it. No, the only celebrity I could think of was Kesha. But that's still music.
He wants to smell like Four Loko and be covered in glitter.
Well, I would say that it's debatable about whether Kesha's music, but we'll give that to you. We'll give it to you. All right, so last thing then before we get out of here, give us 3 albums from each of you that sort of changed your life.
I can, yeah, okay. Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. Megadeth's first record. I love that. It's still to this day my favorite Megadeth record. I know I'm very much in the minority when it comes to Megadeth and that record, but I love that record. So much so. Images and Words by Dream Theater. Another one that completely changed my life. And then I'm torn between Devin Townsend's Accelerated Evolution or Yes's Drama.
Two excellent
I couldn't just
choices.
choose 3.
Well, you play 8 strings, so we'll give you an extra pick, right?
Thank you. That's so nice.
What about you, Mike?
So far I only got... No, I might have 3.
I'll do it for you.
No.
Symbolic by Death.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Traced in Air by Cynic.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's your two. I just chose them for you, and he agrees.
Yeah. So yeah, Symbolic by Death, Traced in Air by Cynic, and then
it has to be another Tampa bass band.
No. Then Black Dahlia's Nocturnal, just because that was the first like album. Like I was, since I'm younger, I was late into the melodic death metal thing, and since that had just come out, I was like, this is awesome. And then went back, it's like, okay, I see what their influences are, and that's kind of what got me into playing that.
Nice. Mike
I want to just yell Carcass at him really loudly.
I know.
Carcass!
Nice. Greg Burgess and Mike Stancil of Allegaeon, the new album Elements of the Infinite, out June 24th here in the States. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. It's an honor to get to know you guys a little bit better, and we look forward to seeing you out on the road. Hopefully there's a tour coming up here soon.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. September, maybe?
Nice.
Fingers crossed.
We'll keep an eye on the Facebook page along with everything else. You guys take it easy, and we look forward to the album release here in another, week and a half, 2 weeks. So,
Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely.